Hello, and welcome to 10 Very Big Books, a Malazan Readthrough podcast. My name is India. I have not read every book in the main series, and with me today is my co-host and closest confidant, Peter Bond, who has read every book in the main series.
And you doing okay, buddy?
I have some pretty serious allergies going on, and my face hurts. But other than that, I'm doing great. And you?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. It's great to hear your sonorous voice. Unfortunately, we had a Robo India on the last episode. But it's great to have you back. Unless we lose this audio again, and I'm talking to a robot as we speak.
No, this laptop is mine. I will not quit before recovering all of my audios.
You can look forward to getting the director's cut of 10 Very Big Books.
And also with us is our friend and lover, AJ Fileri.
Hello.
All three of our heads turned at that.
Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be your collective lover. And I'm going to also just assume that you said all of our collective lovers, so I'm assuming the listener as well. Congratulations. Welcome to the AJ Hive.
Wow.
I love you all very much.
Damn right, you heard it here first. And last, but certainly not least, honestly first, Joshua Dean Baker, our favorite lover as well.
I'm first, I get the whole name, and I'm the favorite lover. It's the trifecta this morning.
Josh is an extremely, never mind.
You can say it, AJ.
Josh is an extremely generous lover.
I am. I'm a giver.
He's a giver.
I don't know how I feel.
Lord.
I don't know how I feel about the only one being not turned into a lover.
No, you are. We are all. The common thread here is that we are all lovers.
Right.
We love each other. We love you. We love what we do. We love Malazan. Also Malazan.
We love Malazan. That's our thing.
Yeah.
We love Steven Erikson. We love it all.
We do.
Without further ado, guys.
We're just
Honestly,
going
I'm
straight.
really sorry for my nasally voice today. It's rough out here.
I mean, it's early. It's the day after Easter. It's allergy season, baby. The temperature has dropped 20 degrees in the last 2 days. So
Yeah.
that's really fucking me up.
Honestly, I agree. There's going to be a lot of editing of sneezes and sniffles.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Spring has sprung, if you will.
Spring has sprung directly into our noses.
And I'm not mad at it.
Josh, did you say hot?
Yeah.
Yeah, spring's kind of blown its load, if you will.
Yeah. What is pollen if not, you know?
Jesus Christ.
I mean, pollen is legitimately.
Yeah. It's plant ejaculate is what we're saying.
God.
And it is directly all over our faces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
India's just pulled out. I'm cutting it out currently, but India's just blowing her nose with a toilet paper roll that she just pulled off the side of her desk.
I like your nails, India.
Oh, those are nice. And lots of rings this morning, India.
Oh, I always wear a lot of rings, guys.
I can't do rings. I don't like most things touching my body. I feel like I would not like metal on me.
I used to have a mood ring in middle school that I really liked, and then I stopped wearing
No
it
way.
because people, and I was afraid people would think I was gay. So I hid that mood ring away.
No way.
100%.
Disappointing.
Whoa.
And then nothing ever came of
How
it.
could you ever
so-
tell how you felt?
Well, listen, don't worry. Completely losing touch with my emotions and repressing parts of me worked out great. So don't worry. No follow-ups needed.
Well, thank God for that.
Thank God. And
So mood rings just go by temperature?
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Watch
guess
your
they
mouth.
just are.
They go by your direct mood.
They go
I'm
by
so
your
sorry.
mood. That's exactly
I'm so
right.
sorry.
They're attuned to your spirits and energies. You know.
Right.
Wow.
Energy is a very real thing. Before we get into this episode,
Nice.
you heard it here first. Energy matters. We are all made of energy. If you don't think that energy is real, you're fucking crazy. That, and we are also ruled by the moon.
We are ruled by the moon. This is well known. My friend once was like, "Well, we are ruled by the moon because we're made of water and tides and stuff." And you know, that's just airtight logic. So shout out to a real one.
You know what? That was the logic that I was gonna pull out of my ass. So totally agree
Crushed
with
it.
that.
I think energy is real and just like a way that people have vibes and social interactions are real, but it's not real and like it gets thrown around a lot as a kind of nonsense word. you
We're
know?
literally balls of energy. That's all we are.
But bro, what do you even mean by that? You know?
Like if you completely separated us into like the smallest of parts, all there would be is energy. Atoms bouncing back and forth.
I want to keep pulling on the thread, but okay.
This is a show about the Malazan Book of the Fallen, as you probably have guessed.
If you've gotten this far, congratulations, and let's get into it as your reward.
Chapter 4. Traveler lands ashore. His ship is wrecked in the shallows. He is immediately attacked by a bear, which he kills and eats its heart. He heads onward. Namander, Skintick, and Desra debate power. Namander is tormented by the two voices in his head speaking to him, his lover and Fade. The group reaches fields of strange plants fed by thousands of scarecrows, which are actually just corpses wrapped in rags. They are met by a priest of the dying god who tells them the former cities of the Panyon are rising in this new age of Salmon Kellic. Clips says he wants to travel to Bastion to see this god. Seer Doman makes his way through the city to the Great Barrow. At the barrow, Seer Doman gives the Redeemer his company to aid the Redeemer in his great loneliness. He asks the Redeemer to bless the pilgrims with peace. Afterward, the High Priestess, a young woman, speaks to him, calling him the Benighted, which she says is a title of respect, and that they believe the Redeemer has chosen him to guard his children. He tells her he refuses the responsibility and leaves. Endis Salon thinks back to when he was an acolyte in the Temple of Mother Dark, entering Carcanus during a time of chaos. Rake arrives, the blood of Tiamat running through him, fired to life by the conflation of chaotic sorcery. Rake tells Endis to come with him to the temple, saying the crime of this day rests with Mother Dark. Endis realizes Rake intends to confront her. Rake thinks he will one day be betrayed by Endis. He tells him as much. In another flashback, Animander goes to talk to Mother Dark, and she is horrified to realize that he has Tiam's blood in him, and says she forsakes him and that she denies all her first children. They will be bereft of purpose. Spinnock worries that the Seerdaman, whom he knows is troubled by something having to do with the Great Barrow, has lost faith. He stops to visit a priestess of the Redeemer and asks if there is a crisis of faith among them. She tells him the Seerdaman denies us in our need, though she won't say what that need is. She says Spinnock can't help, and the Redeemer will end that which afflicts his followers. Kalor walks the plains of Lamath, musing on the futility of history, of the ephemeral nature of achievement, and the banality of life and death.
So kicking it off,
We're traveling.
we are traveling.
Oh, I get it. I was like, wait, are we? No, but
Let's go on a trip.
The Traveler.
The traveler.
Which brings me to my first question, guys. We start, there's a traveler, whatever that means, whoever he is, gets attacked by a bear, comes out of nowhere, really. Very strong, kills the bear, eats the bear, and goes on his merry way.
Sorry, we cannot scoot. I'm sorry. Yeah, ask your questions. Ask your question.
Wait, scoot, don't scoot, don't scoot.
Well, I was going to say, we can't scoot past the fact he didn't just eat the bear. He took the heart out and squeezed the blood into his mouth for sustenance. Horrifying.
Well, of course, that's what you would do if you killed the bear.
That's how you do it. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. That was just like that was like one of the main notes I took on this part was how gross that fucking was.
It was visceral. It was absolutely visceral. And I personally was like, is this my main thoughts were like, do I know this person? And then I was like, actually, I'm not even going to think about this because the answer will come to me eventually, as I always do. Because thinking too deeply about Malazan is never a good idea for me. I never get the answer that I'm looking for, and I'm never right. So I just let the answers kind of come to me.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely didn't know who we were dealing with until it was like, blah, 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 Traveler said, or, whatever, whenever we got the actual Traveler name drop. Because, like, when was the last time we saw Traveler? What was he doing?
I've never even, please.
I believe the last time is in book 4. I'm fairly certain of that.
Are you telling me that there was somebody named Traveler in book 4 that I'm supposed to remember? Not a real name, just a noun.
On the island.
Yes, on Driftval, when we first on
the island with Andrus and the other Tisti Andy. He comes at the end, he kills all the people invading, which I think are Tisti Eater, and then Kalinved and Cotillion show up, and they're like, not fucking with him, and they just get all the people onto a boat.
Yeah, and Crocus and Apsalar find him.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's got the sword.
Okay, and you mean to tell me that you guys just remembered that? That's what you're telling me.
Vaguely.
Well,
mostly.
I've read the books, so I
actually no, India, because I got this guy confused with a different person whose name is a vague noun. I thought this was the guy from the Bone Tower in in House of Chains, and that's the Keeper. This is Traveler. Yes, so I did have to look up the difference.
The Keeper, who is just a ripped dude building.
Like the super strong dude
fossils.
in a bone tower.
They call me the Keeper.
What song is that?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a Who? The Who?
Oh. Notoriously,
All right,
Pete and a bunch of our friends went to see The Who in our freshman year of high school. It was the wildest.
My first live concert.
No.
Went and saw The Who.
It's incredible.
Shout out.
More of a Guess Who guy myself.
Nice.
I thought you were talking about like Dr. Seuss, like Horton Hears a Who.
No.
So from here, guys, we move over to our good friends, and I say friends loosely, Clip and Namander, Skin Tick, and really
the gang.
Just the gang. Clip is listening to the voices in his head and freaking out. It kind of makes you feel like, hey, maybe Clip is like a piece of shit for a reason. So whatever, they end up getting to this like field of scarecrow humans, which is like super disturbing. They're kind of bleeding, can't really tell. And I think they run into somebody who's like, you guys gotta go see that dying god. And they're like, yeah, I want to see it. This, I don't know. There wasn't really much going on here, but what I really wanted to get into is like the voices in Clip's head and how you feel like what do you guys think is going on there? Maybe Josh?
Going on with Clip specifically?
Just in general where they're going, but also the voices in Clip's head. Who are they? Who's
Aren't the voices in...
The voices are in Namander's head. They're not in Clip's head. And the voice is Fade, the girl he killed last book.
What?
Yeah, so we're not seeing Clip's POV. We're seeing Namander's POV. He's the younger Tisti Andy who was kind of leading the group that was stuck with the Sheikh. And then he stayed awake for like 3 days last book because Fade was going to try and kill... What's-her-face? I don't got it off the top of my head. Sandalith, yeah. And then he went and strangled her almost to death, but then Sandalith, like, knocked him off. And then Sandalith's lover/husband, the blacksmith, threw her out of a window and killed her.
Yeah, I mean, I think Namander here is being, obviously, he had such consternation about the Fade storyline last book. I mean, clearly it weighs very heavy.
Fade was like his sister, so like it's really weighing on his soul that even if he didn't kill his sister, he directly led to her death. And so he's just kind of playing in his head what she would be saying at any given moment, which is probably not healthy.
I'm feeling a little bit concerned because the audiobook, there's a lot of different voices, and I get used to these voices as who these characters are. And I think that I really thought that Namander was Clip.
So you're going to be misunderstanding a lot of what happened in these chapters.
Namander narrates all of those sections. Clip does not narrate.
I was wondering why he seemed like so nice.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've seen a clip POV only once, and it was when all of his people died, and we had a 2-sentence POV from him. Pretty sure. That was last book.
I always read the storyline as Nimander, who, largely reads to be like kind of just a kind of bland good guy sometimes, is very hung up on the problem of, well, my sister is a murderer and wants to do murder, and I can't really do anything about it. And that just sucks. It's just kind of dealing with the problem of, well, this person wants to murder someone. What can I do about that? And then that kind of decision gets made that, okay, well, you're going to murder them, And then it's kind of just obviously that hangs over him tremendous amount. I don't really feel like he clearly is not someone who's like, well, that's that. I've murdered her, and that's the solution to that moral quandary is I get to murder her and we're moving on, She seems he's obviously very hung up in a way that I relate to, with just like, well,
that one time you killed someone.
Well, no, just like the very simple moral quandary of like, well, this person wants to do a bad thing, and like, what do you do about it?
You mind your own fucking business.
Interesting.
That's what you do about it. You mind your own fucking business.
I've never thrown anyone through a window, so
You haven't lived, PV.
You gotta wonder though, just because you feel bad, does that change anything?
India, I can confirm it absolutely doesn't. I've done a lot of feeling bad. It has not changed the situations. So,
And was anybody very disturbed by the scarecrow people?
Yeah, they're fucking terrifying, India.
Are they alive, guys?
Man,
I love all of the imagery here. It's so fucking good.
It's really evocative. It's very Stephen King, but it's also just truly fucking horrifying.
It's awful. Yeah.
Also, I mean, we're learning a good bit about this fucking weird alcohol in these chapters.
Yeah.
And AJ did hit us with a very solid message that said, hey, did you know that Gruntle, in the last 3 chapters that we read a month and a half ago, was transporting that same liquid wine shit? And so that's, thankfully AJ saw that, because otherwise I would have literally never made the connection.
Yeah, so there's going to be some Kellic shit going on in the latter half of this book, I think.
Yeah. Ugh. I don't know how you see someone drink that and stain their fucking mouth black and go, oh, that's
cool.
Right up my alley.
Give me 1 pint, please.
Yeah.
I mean,
that is it's a choice.
Have you ever seen somebody get like really mean drunk, Josh? And you're like, I want to do that.
I have never honestly hung out with someone who is mean drunk. So
yeah.
The Bakers are a very jovial bunch. We tend to hang out with like-minded people.
I'm just imagining every Baker family gathering, everyone sitting around going, oh,
yeah,
quite a good one, Joshua. Oh.
Exclusively Ghost of Christmas Present energy.
Yes, exactly.
Accurate.
That's when you say the word jovial, that's exactly where my head goes.
Good.
Moving right along, we meet up with the Seer Domin. What do you guys say?
Seerdomin.
Seerdomin.
Great.
Yeah, we all say something
We're
different.
kind of split down the middle here.
Yeah.
Perfect. And he goes to pray and asks the Redeemer for something with the pilgrims. And I don't really understand anything about what's going on with the Seer Domin, like, at all.
The Redeemer.
And he doesn't want to be, like, responsible for the people there.
Mm-hmm.
But what is that? Like, this whole thing made no sense. I don't really think it was important. Maybe it is.
So do you understand what the barrow is, India?
Me.
The Great Bear. Do you understand what's inside of that?
I just thought it was like a church.
No. So a barrow is like a burial mound.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right. And AJ, tell her what's in the middle of this one.
So this burial mound is Itkovians.
Oh, pause.
Okay.
Indy, remember last book when Beak died and they just threw all their precious items on him?
Yeah.
Okay, that's this.
It's the
but
same
not
situation.
the Beak one. Same situation though.
Yes, same situation. So this is Itkovian's barrow. So Itkovian from book 3 took all the sorrow of the Talani Mass, did that whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's being hinted that he could become ascendant because he's being worshipped by so many people.
Yeah, as the Redeemer.
Yeah.
And people think the Seer Domin is connected because he has just come to visit the barrow every day because he was a member of, the Panion army.
Right.
And he's just coming to kind of like not really pay recompense. He's not like, I'm sorry I did this. He's just kind of been coming to the barrow and hanging out and then leaving, which has made the people around the barrow who have been worshiping the barrow as the Redeemer be like, oh, he must be like Seerdaman must be, you know, the first sword or something, or mortal sword or something. Like he's got to be connected in some way to this Redeemer. She says he's been benighted.
But he does not accept that is his role.
Yeah, he does not want it. So this time that we see him go to the barrow and kind of hang out and talk to this woman is the last time he goes to the barrow. And then later on, we come back to the people here and they're like, he hasn't come back in a couple days. So I'm worried. Mm-hmm. So that's the whole Redeemer shtick. I'm psyched about it because I love Itkovian.
I love it.
So if Itkovian comes back as some sort of cool ascendant, you know, all the ascendants we've met are notoriously cool.
Yeah.
Pete, you look confused.
I'm not confused. I just I feel like this plot line and some of this stuff, it just like can sometimes be too in the abstract, opaque realm of like just people named after ideas, talking about figments and emotions, and you know, it's like, I don't know, I'm longing for something, and it's in contrast to all the Darujistan stuff, which is so much more like down to earth human drama stuff, you know?
On the other hand, I like this a lot because I mean, like, he does have a real role. Like, his presence has been stopping crime in this entire area. So like, yeah, of course they want to like give him all these titles, and then he goes away and spoiler for 2 chapters from now, crime come back.
No, I know that, and I don't know. That's a whole other thing to get to. I just feel like sometimes I'm like naming stuff after vague ideas. Like after a while, I like kind of like disengage from it, you know. So I just think it's like yet another thing named the idea, you know. Yeah. So it's some part of me is just about the naming is like, I don't know. It's something I get over, you know.
I mean, but that's just like religion, though.
It do be like that in a way. But that's a bigger theme to talk about later. So
yeah.
Wow, guys.
Wow.
These are some really great thoughts.
Really hyped me up.
Then this was a whole big weird situation after this. Whole big clusterfuck of going back and forth and
back in time.
So let's all ride back to the days of Mother Dark, when she was literally just our mother. There was no big to-do. She was just our mom, doing not a great job, making all these other kids. And we said, what do? I guess we kind of like kill people because we're pissed.
Right.
And then
naturally.
And then mom says, that was bad, and now I'm not your mom anymore. Figure it out. You will live forever, just wandering the fucking world with no purpose. Pretty brutal.
This is my Great Barrow. I don't get the flashbacks are just not it for me. They're weird. I don't know.
They're so weird.
I know. I liked the Tisti Andy in book 3 because they were gone and we only had Corlat, and Corlat like kind of had emotions and was easy to understand. This new set is tough for me. And I don't like reading from the old guy's perspective because he makes me sad. That is my official stance.
Yeah. I will say one line that stuck out to me here. Animander says, what value is that if she will not be held accountable for her deeds? And Endis says, she's the creator of us all, Lord. And Animander says, yes, and she will answer for it. Which I thought was, it just kind of made me chuckle, but also like nobody asked to be born, you know?
Well, I also think there's like a direct parallel to literally what Klipp said at the end of the 7th book, or like literally he is an identical quote to being like, well, Animander Rake is going to answer to us. We're going to get it. You know?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Whoa.
So
that's a good pull.
You know, I'm really going to confront my mom and really get everything I want out of it, you know? In India, do you connect with this stuff? Are you interested in the Andy lore, the Andy history?
I mean, like, kind of. I think it's interesting to, like, I guess, know it. Like, that's pretty much, like, to understand why they are even a thing, if that's part of the story, I guess. I don't know. Like, I'm interested because I feel like it's been such like a buildup of like who they all are and what they all are. And it's like, okay, well now you're going to tell us. But also it's just like, there's a lot of things going on right now and I don't have time for this. And
sure.
It's just like a lot, especially the going back in time and then you're back. I feel like you're like, you go back in time and then like to another time also back. Like just that was not right next to each other. I don't know. It's just very confusing for me to read this whole book. And anytime we go back in time, I always am confused because then I forget, like I don't know. Like now I'm trying to think about who these characters are and then who they and then there's more of them and then they all have the same name essentially, like Andarist, Endist, and Amander. Like it's just like all
Sure.
Yeah, those are the most confusing set of names. I'm with you right there.
I like Ninander. That's a fun name.
Yeah, that too. Namander and
You're thinking of Nananda versus Namander.
Oh, fuck
actually.
me.
Yeah.
right. So cool. Were you guys connected to it at all? It's a pretty like good portion though. It really is like a pretty good portion of the chapter. And
I think it's a pretty engaging part. There's a bigger conversation to be had, but I like it. So
I think it's cool when the shit hits the fan, but until then.
See you guys later then.
it's Kef 10 our time, baby.
Let's go
It
play
is.
this fucking game, dude. Josh, are you looking to see if somebody's created a fan-made
Yes,
Keftanar?
100%.
They haven't. I've already looked into it.
I'm looking. It's so complicated.
fuckers.
They've made every other fucking game from fiction, but leave it to Steve to make some game that's so convoluted no one can figure out how to play it.
All right, getting to the kind of the end of this chapter. I don't. Well, do you wanna discuss the Spinock stuff?
He's got a sword.
Yeah, I'm just like chapter 4 was like not super. It was a lot of setup, you know. I wasn't feeling very like.
Is the Spinock section where he has sex?
Someone has
Who's-
sex. Someone
with
has
the High
sex.
Priestess. Is that this
Right.
chapter?
No, that's the next chapter, and
Okay.
it's like, but she doesn't.
It's a weird scene.
Yeah, it was fucking strange to be. Yeah, it was weird.
He talks
Okay,
to a
guys.
priestess in this part. I don't think they have sex.
Spinock's the guy that plays the game with the Seerman, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he fucks a priestess. It's like a whole thing. So she can like reach enlightenment.
They talk
I
more
mean-
about the Redeemer. Do they? Is it this chapter? No way.
I don't think
No,
so.
definitely not. The
Definitely not
person
this
that I
chapter.
thought had sex was the
Okay.
one that like thought it was her husband and then it wasn't.
We'll talk about
Oh,
that
that's
later.
later.
That's a whole other thing.
Yeah, that's what I was That's the sex I was thinking of.
No, that's not this. It's not this. No, Spinock is the
It's
one.
Definitely not this.
Spinock is the one hanging out with Seer Duman.
Yeah.
They're like BFFs. They just chill out all the time. And he goes to see what's at the barrow because he's like, why is my friend always hanging out at this place? And then the High Priestess tells him about the Redeemer and all this stuff. Says he hasn't been coming by.
So does Spinock bang?
Yeah, they have sex. It's like very clear. I believe it is this chapter, guys. I can go get my book if I need to. Cause like they're both shirtless or like naked.
Oh.
Yeah. It's like very
Yes.
clear they have sex.
Yes, that's
And
right.
then and then Animander makes fun of it next chapter that like it's always Spinock that gets called when the High Priestess needs to have visions.
Are you thinking?
No, they have sex.
yeah.
I totally misunderstood what you were talking about. You are correct.
Yes.
I was thinking about the priestess of the Redeemer who he's talking to in the present.
No.
Yeah, this is yeah.
No,
We're
there's
not
a
that.
whole
That's
the
two
whole
cha-
past
that's
has
two
a whole
chapters
sex
from
thing.
now.
Yeah.
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 Okay, I now understand the miscommunication.
Then we see Calor. Fuck that guy. That's it. He's just doing his thing, walking around, being a dickhead, and then we end the chapter.
I think this Calor part is actually really interesting because it's like
Why?
I agree, fuck Calor, but he's walking around and he's like, it really stinks to have everything I want. That's so boring. Like, what's the point of ruling people if I don't have to conquer anymore? This is boring. It's like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, eat my whole butt. Like, come on.
Yeah. It's incredible.
Yeah.
I didn't expect Calor to be back. So I think that's actually really interesting.
Oh, really?
That he's like, seems to be, I mean, I figured maybe eventually, and I guess it makes sense, but like he seems to be pretty involved considering we see him at the end of chapter 6. So
Yeah.
it'd be
I
pretty
do like
important.
the end of this chapter, the final couple of lines in Calor's part. The world, someone once said, gives back what is given in abundance. But then, as Calor would point out, someone was always saying something until he got fed up and had them executed.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
It's just a funny little bit. It's interesting to see Calor, who was like this like straight up villain, be played as this kind of like not
Yeah.
goofy, but like there are jokes. There are jokes there.
He does make jokes, which is
Yeah.
unexpected.
It's interesting.
It's also we never saw in his head. I don't think, in book 3. So maybe like one time. He needed to know that he was going to betray everybody.
Yeah,
so this was one time. When the crippled god came and talked to him, we knew.
Maybe really late in book 3, but I don't.
We had to because we were suspicious of him, and there's no other POV that would make sense.
No, I think we see what's her name. Oh my god, I can't remember her name. In love with Whiskey Jack.
Corlat.
Yeah, we see it from Corlat's POV. She like hears him in his tent talking to someone, but she doesn't. She doesn't make the connection that it's the crippled god. I think.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's a whole weird thing. Man, remember book 3?
Yeah.
Long time ago.
And with that, we end the chapter.
Before we move on,
we want to thank everyone who's kind enough to back us on Patreon.
Yeah, a fun little business fact about the Patreon is that people are so generous in supporting us that we actually had to pay taxes on that money this year. So,
oh wow,
thank you everybody.
Fucking Uncle Sam, no taxes. That's my new thing. All taxation is theft, baby. Big thank you to Thomas, Eric, CJ, Pippin, Fred, Tim, JB567. It's a me, JR. Lucas, sorry not sorry, Scott, and thanks so much for supporting the show. It really
there's three more.
I can't see them.
Oh, I got it. And thank you to Chris, Matthew, and Paul. That's right, apostles, baby. All 3 of them here for the Easter. I don't know those are the apostle names, but I know they all sound very biblical.
Matthew and Paul are definitely disciples.
There's not a Chris?
There's not a Chris.
There's no
Christopher,
Chris.
really?
There's not an apostle Chris.
Chris is like Christ.
What if he's the one? There it is. There
Chris is Christ.
Christ. Yes.
He just had a very sloppy handwriting. It's actually Jesus Chris is his name, but people think there was a T at the end.
Christopher.
Christ
is short for Christopher.
Thank you all so much for your continued support. Honestly, we will never be able to express our gratitude enough. This month, you can look forward to a Star Trek 4th movie conversation going up. And also, eventually, there will be an uncut episode.
10 Very Big Books, raw and uncut, on the Patreon soon. Check it out.
Yes. And thank you so much. You can get access to all of our extra Patreon content for just $1. And there's a bunch of other stuff above that, but not a bunch, but there's stuff above that. Anyway, let's move on. Chapter 5. Kruppe gives us a big picture sense of Darujastan's liveliness. Torvald breaks into Garib the lender's house. He rapes Garib's wife and takes his money. We meet a 5-year-old named Harlow and his cousin Snell, who is a little psychopath. Harlow is Stoney's son, a product of rape, and refers to her as Aunt 2. He thinks of Uncle 2, Gruntle, as the bravest, wisest man in the city. His adopted parents, Aunt Merla and Uncle Bedek, suffer mentally and physically. Harlow helps take care of the family. Duiker burns his failed attempts at writing a history of the chain of dogs. He mourns the singular constancy of human stupidity. Mallet tells him the Marines are working on tracing back the assassins to their source. Thordy, who runs a vegetable stall in the market, watches her husband Gaz storm off in a rage. He lost all his fingers in a fishing accident, leaving only a fist. She thinks of how Gaz never hits her because he needs her, but he takes his rage out on others. She thinks how both she and Gaz would be happier were he dead. He's met by a cowled figure who tells him, "Welcome your god," whom Gaz has sacrificed to 6 times. The figure tells him to keep harvesting souls. Gaz begins to protest. The figure says Gaz's desires are irrelevant, and then the sound of flies buzz into Gaz's head. Getting the sense that killing will drive the sound out, Gaz kills again. Rallick Nam meets an old friend and current assassin, Kruppe. Kruppe tells Nam that there was a cult around him, that it had been outlawed by the Guildmaster Savar, that Kruppe is under suspicion and being cut out, and that a lot of assassins have left for Ellengarth, black coral, and even pale to join the claw. Kruppe explains the cult was not so much religious as philosophical with regard to assassination. No magic, lots of poisons, Otatarl dust if possible, but that Sabar is trying to go back to magic. Pust enters the Shadow Temple with the Bokrala. He announces himself as Magus of High House Shadow. A night watchman escorts Mappo to the Temple of Burn. They see Gaz's victim, and the watchman notes he thinks it's time to bring a mage to the case. Mappo is met by a priest who asks if he would walk the veins of the earth despite its risks, and Mappo says yes. He says they'll prepare Mappo by bathing him in blood. Barathal, Solara, and Chower head to a tavern. Ansi, Picker, and Blend are also there and take note of the new arrivals and of Barathal's resemblance to Kalam. Picker wonders if he's a claw, and Ansi suggests maybe he's the one trying to kill them. Blend tells Barathal she knows Kalam, and he tells her they're cousins. They discuss how neither is with the Malazan embassy, how Barathal never served directly in the Empire, and how Blend's group is retired and running Krull's bar. The tables send drinks back and forth until it ends with the ex-Bridgeburners drinking coral milk and passing out. Crone watches Baruch conjure a demon with jade eyes, which he says is a disembodied soul. He admits he recently had a visit from Shadowthrone. They discuss the gods being so eager for war as long as someone else does the fighting, and the promises that Shadowthrone makes. She also warns him of Vorkan's imminent arrival, and also that she has found the confirmation that Rake sought, which Baruch assumes was that Shadowthrone spoke true. Baruch tells Chilbase to fly to Derudan and invite her to counsel with him and Vorkan. The demon leaves, and Baruch thinks of how Vorkan has left only the three of them to stop, if we can, the return of the tyrant. He wonders if he should ask Rake for help. Cutter stands outside the Phoenix Inn, torn about going inside. Wondering if too much time has passed, he's surprised from behind by Rallick Nam, whom he wounds before they recognize each other. Cutter helps Rallick in and gets some help. When they're suspicious he's an assassin, Cutter denies it, and Mies tells the crowd to cool it. Cutter talks to Kruppe. Scorch and Left tell Kruppe they found Torvald and didn't hand him over to Garib because Torvald said he'd pay Garib himself and then pay them. Kruppe thinks if Garib hears, they'll be in trouble. Torvald returns to his wife, Tessera, apologizes for being gone so long, and tells her that he stole from Garib. Kruppe closes with a bird's eye view of the city and several of the characters.
All right, so we start with Kruppe. I kind of like the idea of Kruppe kind of like being like an all-knowing perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I like when he opens a chapter. I think it's fun. It's you know, it's a little surprise. Who didn't miss Kruppe, you know? And that annoying voice. And yeah. So what?
Nothing. I'll put him on blast later. I'm putting Kruppe on. Kruppe's on notice.
You don't like Kruppe?
I love
Lord
Kruppe.
and Savior?
He's got one dumb quote, and I'm going to put him on blast later. We don't need to do it.
Wow.
I like that this section ends with "We are in the midst," so it's like the story has begun. We're in the midst of the story. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, it's actually, I'm not mad at it at all.
Yeah, it actually every time Kruppe pops up, it reminds me that Steve said that this book is a cipher. So it just reminds me to keep that in my mind to see if I can maybe puzzle out like all the themes in the series, I guess. And then we move on.
All right. And then we move on to Torvald Nam, and this is what I was talking about, because snuck into a woman's home who thought that her husband was role-playing, fucked her, and I think that there's just a really interesting story around consent here. Not cool, Torvald Nam, but did, you know, find out some pertinent information using sexy time.
Yeah.
How do we feel about that, PB?
Oh, I'm throwing it to me. Yeah, I talked to AJ about it. Yeah, I mean, the consent thing is bad. It's a very weird scene. It sucks in multiple ways. And I kind of can't help but just feel like this is kind of a misogynistic fantasy played straight. I mean, I don't know. I talked to AJ about what different ways there could be angles or generous ways I could interpret it, but I don't know. It's very weird, and I think what makes it weirder, besides the fact of those issues around consent or whatever, is that it's kind of the longest and horniest scene thus far. You know, it's like pretty long, you know, and a lot of the time Steve kind of cuts to black. I can't really think of that many other that detailed sex scenes, you know? There's some other moments. I don't know. What did you guys think of it?
I thought it was strange. I mean, like, I don't know. I think it was supposed to be, like, silly, but I thought it was weird. I would not like that. But that's just me.
Would not like
a random person sneaking into my house pretending to be my husband.
Yeah, I mean, he fully rapes this woman. Like, it's...
Yeah, it was some real, like, 80s, 90s horny anime stuff.
Very weird, guys. That was a little weird.
And that's kind of what I meant. It feels like it's something he would write in it feels like something out of Willful Child that's like a satire of the thing. Right. But it feels like here it's just kind of played... It just kind of feel like it's part of the book.
It's definitely played for laughs in a way that is like kind of out of place for a book that's this book.
Yeah. Last
chapter, there are bleeding scarecrows. This chapter, a really funny mix-up in the bedroom. Am I right, fellas?
That's funny. Can we please put that in the description?
No, but I think Josh is on a real thing. I think usually the series does a really good job of managing tone. But I mean, like the segment, and this is what I told AJ, I was like, you know, even if it's trying to be something that's trying to kind of dissect this fantasy and problematic elements or whatever out of it, I just don't really know if that lands for me, or I can't really connect with it anyway because of it's like weird tonal position of like,
it's like super indulgent. And then
like immediately after this, we go to Harlow's point of view. I don't know. It's just like, I don't think the tone management worked here. I don't know.
Yeah, it's also now bringing up the next scene. It's like you're right. It's super weird in that context as well, because like Harlow is a child of rape. And that one, you know, that was played seriously in Memories of Ice, you know. It's played like this is like a sex comedy kind of like fun romp thing, and it's just like super not. He fully rapes a woman and we see the entire thing, and then tish, the scene's over.
Right on.
Yeah, like
ugh. To a child's point of view.
Yeah, it's very weird. Weird scene.
Didn't like it, guys. But question that I have next. Is this a new POV with Harlow but we obviously know Grundle and Stoney. Did we know that Stoney had a child?
No, this is really a follow-up to that plot line and one of my favorite plot lines of the book. I think this plot line rules. I know we were kind of just...
It's very confusing to read, though, for the first time.
Oh, no, it's definitely one of those, like, boom, we're just fully in a new thing. But, what did you guys think about it? I love this plot line. I have really nothing to contribute besides I think it's really good, so...
Yeah. I was the kind of... I mean, we don't know where the story goes, Pete, so I don't really have thoughts on this plot line other than it was a weird part of the chapter. Interesting to see this side of Gruntle. I thought, I don't know. There's so many names.
There were so many names.
Why did they give Harlow to these people?
I don't think we know yet. I don't think we even know the Gruntle connection other than maybe they were caravan guards, but we never saw this guy in the last book, right? Like we didn't have a guy last book who got his legs cut off or anything, did we?
I'm sure there was a person who got their legs cut off at some, in some.
But I don't think they were named.
No. Yeah, these are definitely all new named characters. I think we're just supposed to believe that like these were people who were in Kapustan with them.
Right.
They, they just kind of all huddled up together, I guess, to rebuild or whatever they're doing.
Got it.
Yeah, I think the POV writing in this section is like some of the best in the series. Like just the way that it's written in kind of like a child's eye, I think is really good.
Oh, it's awesome. I think he does a great job of making it really distinct.
Yeah, it's different. Exactly, it's distinct. It's completely different from any of the other POVs, and I really home run with that one. I think really, really good.
Good job, Steve. Anybody else think his cousin Snell's a little dickhead?
Oh yeah,
dude sucks.
Yeah,
can't wait for something interesting to happen.
We're gonna say something bad happened to the kid.
I thought you were gonna say something terrible happened. I was like, he's a kid.
I was.
I do want to say, we get kind of like a hard timeline here because Harlow says that he's 5 close to 6, which means Kapustan and stuff happened 6-ish years ago. So that's interesting.
Oh,
I didn't think of that. That's a good point.
Oh, okay. Now that doesn't feel right at all with like the Cutter stuff. It does not feel right to say he's been gone for 6 years.
Yeah.
I feel like it kind of does with the Cutter stuff
6
because
plus
they do
years.
think about where Cutter started and like where he is now. Like
Okay.
Crocus was like kind of like
That's 6 years.
and now Cutter's like, I'll fuck you up.
I'm just going to drop in and say, I don't know how deep you should look into this.
Yeah.
You know,
Thank
this is
you.
one of those
Okay.
things that, the timeline is a bit
Steve needed
fuzzy.
this kid to be 5 so he has coherent thoughts and an internal monologue, not because that's
Literally.
the right time.
Mm-hmm.
No, well, but
Literally.
AJ brings it up. This book is the book that kind of is the because the other ones kind
Oh,
of have
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
timeline, but this is the one that it's like, it is the most like, okay, well, these people are this age, so that means blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it raises a lot of questions, is all I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's good
That's
to know.
That I don't know if we're going to answer on the podcast today.
fair.
Is this a big thing in the community?
Well, when you start talking timelines, yeah, this book's going to be a big part of that conversation.
All right. Well, cool. Great scene. Love it. We then do another little kind of strange jump to Diker.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Dyke.
I always said Duiker, and I still will stand by that, but it's a weird name to say.
He's having some feelings. He's going through it. They're trying to figure out what's going on with the assassins, and he talks to Mallet and then heads off. So I think that the Diker conversation, or the Diker what is the word?
POV?
We'll go with POV. I kind of liked it. I always liked Diker a lot. How did you guys feel?
I kind of had a similar like feeling of coming back to Calor in a way of like, oh, this isn't where I thought this character would end up, or like how I thought this character would end up. Because like it's revealed in this section that like Duiker is no longer trying to write histories because he's like, there's no point. He has a line that says, "There's no point in writing histories. The only constant is human stupidity," which is I don't
Where's
know.
the lie?
It's that quote's like a little bit up its own ass, but also I think it's true. I think it's like a factual statement because history repeats itself, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I mean, I think clearly he's disillusioned and kind of falling back on that very, I don't know, as you said, kind of whatever, position of like reducing history to just, I don't know, the same thing over and over again,
Yeah.
It feels very much like Steve's personal frustrations bleeding in here.
Yeah, exactly. I think so. I think in some ways, Duiker's definitely a self-insert for Steve because he's a anthropologist. Steve is an anthropologist. Has learned a lot about human history and stuff, and I'm sure has seen evidence of like civilizations failing in similar ways. And it's like, well, this could all be avoided if we all just kind of did X, Y, Z. But it's obviously not that simple.
Yeah, I liked the Diker part though. I feel like it's very true too. Like once you finish doing something, you're kind of like reflecting on it a lot. And he didn't have a lot of good things to reflect on. He had a lot of
Sure.
shitty things, and then but
He's mostly had a bad time being crucified
right.
and
And
all.
so now he's like, well, after all that kind of sucked. Then we get
New POV.
Thordy.
And Gaz.
I like it. I thought it was funny.
Do you think Gaz is funny?
I thought Thordy was funny.
Okay.
Did you not?
Oh, Thordy? Yeah. I was just kind of confused for a sec. Yeah, sure. Thordy's fine. Yeah.
I thought Thordy was funny. Are these the people like with the guy with no hands?
Yeah.
Yes.
Kinda.
Yes.
He kind of beats people to death. They have a whole thing.
because he has no hands. And yeah, I liked them. I thought they were funny. How did you not think this was funny?
I guess the beginning repartee between
Yes.
no, it's not. It's sad.
Yeah, I don't find it funny.
What is
What's-
sad
Yeah.
about it? That they're just two miserable people?
They're not miserable. Yeah, he's
everything.
he's deeply in love with her and thinks and knows he's a terrible human and should be gone. And then she's got equally wild.
Oh, I thought it was a little bit silly. Yeah. Well, maybe. Okay, guys. I'm sorry I didn't take it so seriously. Yeah, he's like he's doing that because of the crippled god, right? Or someone.
Not yet. No, not until later this scene. Later this scene, he becomes
So you mean wait.
he meets someone for the crippled god. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I thought my understanding. So let's just throw that out there. I thought it was a little bit funny because, you know, he has to do all these things, but like he doesn't really want to do them. He has to do them for the crippled god. I thought so. He's just killing people for him.
So he killed the first 6 people just because that's what he does. And the crippled god is saying, congrats, you've sacrificed 6 people, you know, keep working for us.
That's
and then
the
he
magic
kind
number.
of infects his brain, and then he goes on that, he's going to be going on a rampage, it seems like.
Oh.
The flies.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought it
What?
was like he was working for him the whole time.
Not until now.
And that they were having like this little like she like, you know, she didn't like, I don't know. I thought it was silly. Like, I thought it was just like, yeah, this guy is such a shitty husband. Ha ha ha. He's like, no, I love her so much. You know, the classic. Maybe I'm just really into the whole toxic thing.
I don't know. I think India, the part about that one that made me sad was he'd be happier if he were dead is a line that's just fully there, which I think is just deeply, deeply upsetting.
Yeah, and so would she.
Yeah.
I understood.
Yeah.
She'd also be happier if he was dead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I guess maybe there's something funny in that, like, they're kind of trapped and like they think the thing is like, I don't know.
I mean, the whole idea of someone not having a hand due to a fishing accident and then saying, well, now I don't really have anything to do with it but beat people up. I thought it was funny.
India, we have a huge fisherman population in our audience. You gotta be careful with what you're saying.
You can't upset all the.
The fisherman market is fucking huge.
10 very big bass.
10 very big hooks. 10 very big hooks, AJ. It was right there.
There it is. No, that's good. That's good.
Fishing's important. I shout out to fishers.
Shout out to fishermen.
I love fishing. My dad just posted a picture of us fishing yesterday.
Yeah, I've been fishing many times. I'm you know.
That's a really barbaric thing to enjoy, guys. My dad fishes too. It's really fucking psychotic.
Well, I would rather,
it's psychotic to go
it's
fishing.
tough. Do I enjoy fishing or do I enjoy loveless marriages where a man wishes he was dead? You know, which one's worse?
Hey, to each their own, you know?
Yeah. Tomato,
see,
tomato.
Don't yuck my
That's the thing. They don't tell you that's what fishing's the gateway into.
Yeah.
Anyway,
guys, fishing is horrible. It's literally so mean.
we
You
gotta
can
move
send
on.
the fish back. What
we
are you
gotta
talking
move on.
After putting an entire hole in their face?
I've had a few holes in my cheeks. It's fine. You know, the cheek grows back.
When?
That was a joke. I've never had a hole in my cheek in my life.
I'm just saying, guys, we can debate this in the Discord.
We gotta keep
All
it
right.
moving though.
Yeah, we're over an hour in.
Yeah, we got to slow. We're chilling out today, baby.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm really. This is gonna be quick though. So Gaz, whatever. Malik Nam.
The cult.
Yeah, we learned that the Assassin's Guild has been replaced or I guess infiltrated or whatever.
Well, we've
now...
known all these things. This is Rallick being told all these things.
Did we know that?
Sure.
Yes.
Was it in Guardians of the Moon?
We knew that there was a new person and that
okay.
he was trying to get rid of the cult of Rallick Nam. The cult of Rallick was about using poison instead of magic, and the new guy is trying to outlaw it because it's kind of undermining his power, and it seemed as though he had killed them all, but there were rumors that it had just gone underground.
Oh, well, there you go. Neat.
And then all this gets communicated to Rallick Nam now.
Yep.
Cool.
Who then communicates that Vorkin's out, baby.
How would you guys feel if you found out there was a cult about you?
I
So
work at a
happy.
high school and I teach band. There is a
Woof.
fucking cult.
Woof.
They call it Bakerism.
That's an intense vibe, brother.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Yeah, and then we come back to our great friend Iskarl Pust.
Pust or bust.
Pust or bust.
Great friend? Is that what we're calling him now?
You guys are the ones that made me have to like him because you guys loved him so much. Are you kidding?
No,
I didn't like this person.
He ingratiated himself to you, India.
Yeah.
We didn't have to speak on his behalf.
You exclusively spoke on his behalf because I said he was fucking annoying. But that's neither here nor there. Fuck it then. Iskarl Pust, the one we don't even really like because he's so annoying, came and was
sworn enemy is Squirrel Pust.
And I like that I really just enjoy the birds. They're birds, right?
They're like bird monkey things.
Yeah, very
Bokral.
cute. Love
The
them.
Bacharel.
Baccara. Baccara.
I like the you put in there, Josh.
Well, I mean, it's a BH. What are you going to do? Not.
Bakrala. And he goes and he's just there for a second doing something. I don't really. He went to the high house. He went somewhere.
Yeah,
he went to the temple.
He went to the Temple of Shadow, and then the priestess was like,
Oh,
"No, you
yeah.
can't come in." And he's like, "Yes, I can." And she was like, "Okay, fine, but your little creatures can't." And he says, "Okay." And then he walks in, and then all of a sudden the Bakrala are there, even though there are wards that are supposed to prevent them from getting in. So I don't know if that speaks to the Bakrala having power, or if that's just a Skarlpust having power.
Yeah, who even knows? Like, that shit's crazy.
So good.
Everything he
So
does.
good.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but more importantly, Mappo.
Yes.
Mappo, I feel like he's walking through that god, right or wrong.
Walking through what?
The god that
Yeah, he's going to walk
is
through
in all-
Burn, the earth goddess.
That. Yeah.
Who's,
Because
yeah.
of the veins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? What are we thinking there? I have no fucking idea. Not a clue. Not a shadow of doubt. Like,
Yeah, I'm with you. It's,
Peter?
I have no comment.
Pete, what do you think's gonna happen?
yeah, I'd love to know your called shots.
So we have no called shots. That's fine. Me either.
I do like when we see Mappo. One of the first things he does is scare someone because he's so tall, and he thinks he's like, "Oh no, did I kill this man?" Because he was so scared of how tall I am.
Oh my God, yeah.
That was funny.
That's so funny.
Uh,
I don't know
Yeah.
what's going to happen, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be good, India. The last time we were in Burn's body, it was like literally burning, like dying terribly.
Well,
and they
Josh-
were trying to like shore it up.
Josh, he's fine because he's bathed in blood, so he'll be okay.
Right.
He's
exactly.
not gonna melt.
The blood.
It's totally
I'm
okay
saying, look,
and normal.
you say that like it's a silly thing. If I walk through the roughest part of a terrible neighborhood and I'm covered in blood, no one is coming at me.
So it's not like an actual ward or anything. It's just the flame. The heat is like, ugh.
It's not a ward. It's a threat. It's a threat of violence. Is what it is. All right. I walk into the worst prison in America, covered in blood. Doesn't matter what I do any other day. That first day you walk in covered in blood, no one's ever coming near you.
Moving right along.
Oh my god.
Agreed, Pete.
What was that?
That was a Goron from The Legend of Zelda.
And that's what Mappo Tro looks like to me.
Big guys. Oh.
Just a big guy.
That's what Mappo looks like?
That's
That's
me.
what in Pete's headcanon.
a character from The Legend of Zelda.
Okay. It's for those who
But-
can't
but
see, it's
let
a
the record
large yellow
show.
thing.
But he's hot, though. He's a hot Goron. Let the record show.
Okay,
I
there
mean,
are
is there
hot
a
Gorons
not
you could
hot
find a
Goron?
picture of, but
I'm not
Anyway.
going to Google hot Goron. Nice try, AJ.
you don't have to. It's the one from Breath of the Wild is hot. And also the one from Majora's
True.
Mask is also hot.
That's true.
All right, I did Google it, and it's pretty good, to be honest.
Hold on.
They're all chilling out in hot springs.
I love this.
Okay.
Let's move on.
To my favorite people, Scalara and
Love
Cutter and Barathol. Great group. I really love Scalara and Barathol. I think that they're cute little friends. Cutter was not doing
Yeah.
it for me. Like, Cutter, I understand for the time. It was like, okay, this is great. I love it. But it's more so like I had to endure Cutter.
Sometimes you have to
Whereas-
eat your vegetables, you know.
Exactly. But Scalara has just been a whole gem. Barathol and her are cute. I really hope that they date. Anybody else? Anybody else there?
Scalar and Barathol, that'd be nice. They both deserve something nice.
I don't know if I went on the date, but I do love their little like relationship.
Their little banter.
Yeah, it's nice.
Me too. And I do like the way she like stands. Maybe we should just like so Galara and Barathol like had this, they go into this red light district and it's amazing. And then they go to the tavern and who do they see? Who do they run into? No other than some bridge burners.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
Right?
Oh wait, that's funny. Yeah.
Are they
I
still
love this
bridge
whole
burners?
scene.
They don't know anything about the bone hunters
Retired bridge burners.
stuff. Yeah, okay.
Retired bridge. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess they're not technically, are they? They're ex-bridge burners.
They're ex-bridge
They're
burners,
ex-
but they're not
yeah.
bone hunters. They're just ex-bridge burners.
No. The only bridge hunter who's bridge burner who's a bone hunter is Fiddler,
Fiddler,
and
yeah.
kind of Quick
Come
Ben,
on.
but yeah.
Did anybody else forget that Barathol and Kalam are related?
No.
Because his name's Barathol Mekar.
Yeah, but it's also just like Barathol.
I forgot that they were
Yeah, but
cousins.
they made a point in this chapter, India, to refer to him as Barathol Mekar just to remind us.
Yeah. But I love this. This scene is so fun.
What do you love about it?
It's just a good time. I don't know. We're just like being goofy. Like this is this book's like, you know, we're just jumping from like soldier to soldier, seeing what all the goofy stuff they're doing, except I actually care about these people.
Yeah.
Like I've had time with these people and I'm not like just being introduced to them. Like I care about Picker and Blend and Barathol and, you know, and the whole group. And the fact that they're just like, they don't trust him because he's related to Kalam or whatever. And Kalam probably spoke bad about him or something. I don't remember if there was anything specific. Correct me if I'm wrong. And so then they're just like drinking each other under the table or like sending each other gross drinks. I just think it's really funny.
It's one of the lighter scenes of the chapter, which I think is nice.
It's super welcomed.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. It's been I thought the other chapter was kind of funny, but you guys didn't. The other scene. So I think it's kind of like welcomed, a nice little breather. And it's light, you know, to read. It's not as like, pay attention.
Yeah.
This will be brought up later or was already brought up. So I really liked that. That I really like, I don't know. I don't really feel like talking about the crone.
We must talk about the crone stuff.
We must.
I know we must talk about the crone. What are they doing, do you think? The crone and like what is the like are they going to work for Shadow Throne? And also, so the crone and Rake have like this little friendship situation, but he's kind of mean to her.
Well, and the crone's a giant bird.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. And what are they doing though, guys? What did you get from like maybe I don't know, who wants to take my question about how you felt about like what you thought about the scene and what you took from it?
This book is a cipher that will like on a second read, I'm sure this scene says something important or like hints at something important, but like on a first read, it's indecipherable, you know? Like they're definitely so there's a guy with jade eyes from the realm of the fallen one. We know that the jade shit from book 6, we know those people came from the same world as the crippled god or whatever. So like assumedly this has something to do with that, but like we do not know anywhere near enough to kind of make connections. We also know like I mean it seems like Shadow Throne and maybe Animander Rake are like tentatively going to work together, but like no one trusts Shadow Throne because he's like a lunatic. So that's all the other thing they're talking about is trying to suss out whether he's trustworthy. So that's about as much as I got out of this.
I was under the impression that this demon has Heboric's soul in it because they do say from the realm of the fallen one, which doesn't track with Heboric, but they say stuff about him reaching, like this soul is reaching for its god, touching and recoiling, which we know that he has touched the god, which made Fenrir fall from the sky. They also say something about the spirit being of a very religious person. A most spiritual individual. So Heboric was certainly spiritual, maybe not necessarily religious. And I do also think they say that the spirit is a manifestation of another body that is far away. So I was just assuming that it was Heboric, but perhaps I'm wrong.
I didn't catch any of that, and if you're right, that's a fucking incredible called shot.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say about that.
Well,
Heboric was murdered really violently.
I actually forget how he died.
I thought those things came and killed everyone, almost killed Scalara, almost killed Cutter, kill Heboric, ripped him apart.
Right, and then they took Heboric's chunks, and they were going to take it to Letharis or whatever, and then the moon fell, and they threw, and then Heboric fell into the ocean, and then his jade hands, whatever, reached up and died. So he wasn't.
Well,
he didn't.
What killed him? What was the thing that killed him?
It was the Talani Mass, the
Mass, the
seven.
Unbound.
Oh, right.
The Unbound.
Right, he died there. Totally forgot about that. You're right.
Yeah. But his spirit was still around.
I didn't know his spirit was still around.
Well, yeah, he did the whole jade jade hand thing. He held the moon up or whatever.
Oh. Shielded
them from the. You remembered at the time. You knew what was happening at the time.
At one point.
Yeah. Well, I do just want to say I want to take back my call shot. I don't think I'm right.
You're recalling the shot.
I'm recalling the shot because I had understood, or I guess I had misunderstood the sentence where they say, what you see here is not a physical manifestation, a soul, I believe, disconnected from its corporeal self, which makes me think that it is still that is still the demon. It is like still the soul of a demon. And they says the conversations have been enlightening. I don't know, but it's really just the jade eyes and stuff. No, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to say that Heboric is the soul connected to this thing. And that its physical manifestation looks like a
Stand in your truth, AJ.
So,
you got this.
Yeah, we know he's fully jaded. He did the
You
whole.
called, you recalled, you've called again.
I have recalled. Yeah. So, chill base is Haboric confirmed. Thank you.
Chill base is Haboric, baby. All right. Well, that's great.
Yes.
Great. Now I'm here and I'm going to put on Cutter on blast. Not Cutter. Cutter's the best. We all know this. Best character.
Yeah, I was
What?
so confused. I was like, what?
Cutter is not the best, but go ahead.
So Cutter's there and he's like, oh, he's, he has all these, he feels weird. He's coming home after all this time. He's like, these people are going to know me. I've changed so much. Like, what is my relationship going to be like coming back to the Phoenix Inn? So he's outside. They bump into Rallick. They do that whole thing, yada, yada, yada. He ends up inside. And then he's talking to Kruppe. And then Kruppe offers this absolutely insane take. Mm-hmm. Here we go. Mm-hmm. So Kruppe is talking about, where life goes on, and he says, tell Kruppe, dear Cutter, do you believe that we are all equal? Equal? Well, Kruppe cuts him off. A laudable notion, we can both agree, yes, yet. And he raises one unclean finger. Is it not true that from one year to the next, we each ourselves are capable of changes so fundamental that our present selves can in no reasonable way be considered equal to our past selves? If the rule does not apply even within our own individual lives, how can one dare hope to believe that it pertains collectively? Absolutely insane take out of Kruppe here, and just need to put him on blast. He's on notice. I just read it. I was like, what is up with this Kruppe? And, obviously he's a really pretentious up his own ass kind of character. So it really makes sense.
Whoa, Kruppe?
Kruppe?
No way.
Just like the art, it just blew. It just really got under my fucking skin here. Just really got under my skin.
Really seems like a pretty innocuous thing to get you so heated up, if I'm being honest with you.
I think that's what bothers me even more. It's just, it's like presented as like a thrown off innocuous thing Kruppe's saying. And it's like, no, this actually sucks. And this is a really bad take.
I guess so.
What do you mean you guess so?
I don't know. Part of me feels like he's just saying shit. And he doesn't actually believe any of it. He's just saying shit because
he knows
Crocus
make any sense.
Because he knows Crocus has changed or Crocus/Cutter has changed, and that's kind of eating him up. And he's like, everybody changes. Like that seems like that's what the take is.
It seems like that's the take, but then it gets into this like, what, you're better than the past version of yourself, so everybody's not equal? What does this possibly mean? It's like complete nonsense. It's really bad comforting to Cutter if that's the goal of Kruppe there.
Well, yeah, I'll agree that. I think that's the point.
It just I read this take and it feels like Kruppe saying, some people are better than other people. I'm better than other people. Is that not his take here?
Is it a wrong take?
Nice.
Yes, that is wrong. Yes. I agree, though. I do think he's trying to comfort Cutter, which is the larger context of this conversation, is this Cutter's identity question, Yeah. I just want to put Kruppe on notice. This line got caught in my craw, and I've been just sitting here chewing on it.
Clearly.
I have to tell you, airing this grievance was not the catharsis emotional release I thought it was going to be. It seems like I'm the only one who even cares about it.
You're totally right. I agree. Kruppe said a silly thing, and that's dumb.
It seemed important at the time, AJ. I made a highlight for a reason. I was like, this is going to be a good point to bring up on the show.
They're going to love this point.
Everyone's going to be writing in, wow, Pete, great point. Loved it.
We all were thinking it.
Yeah.
Kruppe said something dumb. What's new? Christ.
I do just want to say we kind of skipped past the Cutter and Rallick part, which I don't think we need to dwell on it. But Cutter asks Rallick, he's like, "Hey, where have you been?" Like, "Oh, what were you doing?" Like, my man.
I was just also asleep.
Is there anything else left in this chapter that needs to be discussed?
Cutter and Rallick fight, and Cutter whoops his ass.
Yeah.
It's pretty great.
Yeah, there's some like Torvald stuff talking with Tessera and
his wife.
I don't know. Yeah, his wife. Okay.
I think it's kind of a sweet scene. I kind of like their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You've been stealing again, haven't you?
And that's it. Chapter 6. Let's get the fuck out of here, guys.
As Kruppe ever says, it is a wise ox that gets the yoke. So remember that.
Now, see, when he says something like that, I'm like, whatever, I tune it out. But he says one thing that just really got me,
I get it, buddy. I get it.
Sorry, buddy.
Chapter 6. Traveler is met by Shadowthrone and Cotillion. Shadowthrone offers to give Traveler food and drink and have the Hounds lead Traveler to salvation, but refuses to say what he wants in return. Traveler asks about the 2 white hounds and wonders if they might be the fabled Hounds of Light. Traveler realizes the bear had been driven to him by the 2 gods and angrily asked which of them wrecked his ship and killed his crew. Cotillion says they wouldn't have done that, and Traveler seems to accept that and leaves. Shadowthrone and Cotillion are relieved after Traveler leaves without trying to kill them, and discuss how Mael had been the one who smashed Traveler's ship and that they had pulled Traveler out. They wonder why Mael wanted to delay Traveler. They discuss how they cannot fail, and timing is all. Nananda tells the group they should discuss if they can trust Klipp. They all agree that they don't, but are divided on if they can trust Dezra. Klipp and Dezra return, and Klipp tells them the dying god will soon appear and they should go, which they do. They come across the scarecrows writhing above the plants, which have opened and sent out clouds of pollen. Namander is drawn in and wants to taste the pollen, but is pulled back by Skintick, who is also drawn. They barely make it back, but are brought inside by Arantha. He feels Arantha's power, an emanation of will, that she keeps cloaked until it's needed. They hear sounds of Klipp slaughtering the villagers. During the night, Namander fights with the ghosts in his head. Fade implies she killed his love, then warns him he should kill Nananda before he is usurped by him. At dawn, they find Klipp, comatose, covered in the blood of the villagers he'd killed in the tavern. Arantha says they took something from him, and they decide to go to Bastion, where the dying god resides, to get it back. Endis senses a shout, knowing that every other Tistandi must sense it, and hopes it is Mother Dark returned. He heads to find Rake. Rake asks Endist if he agrees with Mother Dark's past judgment of him. Endist asks what they should do about what is happening, but as he listens, he has no idea of what Rake is saying or thinking. Suddenly, the strange power disappears, and when Endist asks Rake if it will return, Rake instead muses over the ever-changing sea. Nothing lasts forever. Salin says the Redeemer is in trouble by something from the south that had the flavor of Geralt Galain. Around her, pilgrims are worried about their safety now that they've been abandoned by the Benighted. The pilgrims ask if the Redeemer is yet another indifferent god, and wonder who will stop Gradathan. Salin recalls her own trouble in the past as a firstborn of the Tenniscowry. They decide to go confront Seer Domin, though she thinks it is a bad choice. Spinnock and Seer Domin are playing Kef Tanar in the tavern. Spinnock thinks of this strange drink, Kellic. He's begun to see abusers stumbling glaze-eyed through the city. Spinnock is shocked when Seer Domin surrenders the game. Saland arrives and Seer Domin is shocked and furious, telling her that this is his refuge and demanding she leave. Spinnock leaves the two alone and waits outside. When Saland leaves, Spinnock speaks to her. Saland tells Spinnock how Seer Domin used to pray each day at the temple, that he has missed. Then she leaves. Spinnock thinks he must do something for Seer Domin, for her, and he wonders at the effect she has had on him. Kala recalls past women and his thoughts on attachment. His thoughts are interrupted by a sense of power north of him, and then another he recognizes as Tystandi. He wonders if it is Korlat or Orphanthal. He remembers how he has killed dragons before, though thinks 2 at the same time might be harder. The powers disappear, and he heads toward Darujistan. Kalor hitches a ride with Namander's group, heading toward Bastion with Klipp still comatose in the back of the wagon. Traveler meets the Kindaru on the Lamath Plains, who tell him they've recently found an ambushed group of 30 Skathandi riders, killed seemingly by a demon, we think, who walks like a storm, dark with terrible rage. They explain the Skathandi is ruled by the captain,
who sits in an ever-moving two-story carriage drawn by slaves. The next day, they scavenge the ambush site, Traveler taking a horse, and then are surprised by the appearance of a woman who says she's following the damned demon to give him his damned horse back.
Okay, chapter 6. We pick up with Traveler talking to Shadowthrone and Cotillion, and he's gonna beat those asses. And they're scared. I don't know, this was a lot of Shadowthrone and Cotillion, and I can't lie to you guys, I toned them out. I have no fucking idea what their game is and what they're playing at.
Well, this is a relatively important scene, it
is.
seems like. This first one with Traveler and them.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you tell me about it, Josh?
Well, we learn a lot of things. First off, at the end of their conversation, we finally get an actual reveal that Traveler is indeed Dasam Ultor, first sword of the Empire, which I had called I think maybe I thought that about Keeper. I believe I called that Keeper was that, but I was wrong. It's Traveler's Dasam Ultor.
Who is that person?
And the first sword of the Malazan Empire under Kellanved's rule. Basically the best warrior in the Malazan Empire when Kellanved and Dancer were alive.
He's been getting name dropped for
forever.
Every book, yeah.
Yeah, he's like very, very strong, which makes sense that it's Traveler.
Mm-hmm.
But we learned that the bear was sent by Shadowthrone so that Traveler could sustain himself, and now the dogs are there, but also we learned that maybe the Traveler is the original owner of the dogs, which is a big fucking reveal of some kind. So they love him. They send him on his merry way. There's also 2 dogs to replace the dead dogs from before, and they are the fabled Hounds of Light, maybe, but Shadowthrone just kind of playing coy and refusing to admit that, which I love when he does that.
Yeah.
And he's just like, really hadn't noticed. So
I don't understand what that is.
Well, there's Hounds of Dark, or Hounds of Shadow, which these guys had. And then there's the Hounds of Dark from book 6, where they're like fucking humongous and only 2 of them get released, but they're terrible. And that one person from the Bone Hunter squad under Yagatan kills one, and that's a huge deal. Forget which one it was, though. It was not Masan Galan.
No, that was, she killed Dejem Nabral.
Yeah.
There's the other one, though.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah, fuck this.
Oh, and that's right. The Hounds of Dark kill the Dejem, or they attack the Dejem Nabral. That's right. So they go after that. But so the Hounds of Shadow are one thing, and then the Hounds of Dark are way scarier, apparently. But then the Hounds of Light are here now, and they haven't been seen in forever, and we have no idea how we got them, which is pretty great.
Yeah.
And then Traveler's like, last thing, did you fuck with my boat and kill all my men? And they're like, what? No.
We would never. I would never done that.
And then he leaves and they're like, well, good thing we didn't tell him we had to save his ass and Mail threw everything he had at him, which is interesting because we know Mail and we have no idea why he would want to kill Dasam Ultor.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Dasam Ultor is going to go kill Hood. Is that right? Is that who he's after? He's going to go kill Death? Am I right, Pete?
He's got a plan.
He's going to go, I'm pretty sure he says he's going to go kill Hood, or at least confront Hood. So.
Very good. Great job, Josh. To be honest, once we get to the last section, once we get to the last chapter, I'm as good as useless. Why? Because my brain hurts, and at this point, I'm just trying to get through it. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Also, this book really just isn't fucking doing it for me. I'm so bored. I find it to be so boring. You guys seem so jazzed, and I am bored. I don't like it. I'm not having a good time. But yeah, I just figured I'd share that now. Usually I shared earlier on, but I feel like as we get more to the end, I should probably just let you know. Not enjoying this book so far.
Okay.
Anyway.
When you say when we get more to the end, you mean of the series?
No. I meant the end of this episode.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yes. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. I should have said it earlier, in the beginning when we first started. We haven't done a temperature check in a while. So, I'll ask you guys again at the end.
Probably because this is only the second episode we've recorded in.
Yeah, but it's fucking heinous. Sure. Am I right? So yeah, then we get to Nananda and they're discussing Clip.
Mm-hmm.
And, no one really likes Clip. And they don't know who they can trust and all this fun stuff. And then my favorite part of the whole thing is when the Scarecrow starts singing. So...
That's your favorite part?
It's the best part, AJ.
Yeah,
Wow,
okay.
thank you, Josh.
It's a whole fever dream of a section of a chapter, and then the scarecrows, who are dead people, start bleeding and screaming in harmony. Like, hell yeah, that's awesome.
I wouldn't say I love
I really
that.
found this section funny. I really liked it. It really was busting me
There's a
out.
lighthearted humor that you can find in here, AJ, if you just open your mind a little bit.
Jesus.
If you just realize that dead people singing is hilarious,
Yeah.
they're scarecrows.
AJ, next episode, when you get to a really dark section, just like drop a lot of acid and then read it, and I think you'll really find the humor in it.
I think if I read this part while dropping acid, I probably would have like
Yeah,
hidden
your
in the
mind would
basement.
never.
Yeah, I would have like put myself in the washing machine and been like, let me know when the scarecrows are gone. Like, anyway.
But I kind of love all this, you know? This stuff is just good, in my opinion.
it is very
this
terrifying.
This was the only good part of the whole thing. I really enjoy scenes that I don't have to wonder if I'm missing something. So when things are just kind of like seem to be a little straightforward, nothing like it's just a leisure. I don't need to use my brain. I'm not wondering what's coming next. I'm not wondering what came before. I'm not wondering what I don't know. I actually can understand what I'm reading. Those are the things that I like. I feel like the clip stuff is I just don't like, I just take it for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I accept that I don't know anything.
Right.
It makes the reading a lot less like tedious. Whereas when you have like some kind of understanding of what's going on, like that's why I hate the Shadow Throne and Cotillion stuff, because like they're very clearly playing around towards something and I just don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And that bothers me. And then you guys always are like, oh.
Yeah, they know what they are up to.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But with Clip, only Clip knows what he's up to and he's not telling anyone and we never see in his head. So we can just be like, fine, you're doing your thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and I think the lack of knowledge here doesn't read as like, oh, like what? It doesn't make you go like, what's going on? I don't get the scene. You're just like, okay, well, this is weird imagery. Or like, you know, I don't really understand that character, but I understand Amanda. I understand the situation. So I do think it reads differently.
yeah.
Do you guys think that the crippled god is that the dying god?
Yes.
I mean,
Why do they call him that?
Because he's constantly like in a state of dying. Like he's super fucked up.
So then fucking pick a name and stick to it. Because I was like,
Actually, you know what? Let me back up. It's possible that the crippled god is not the dying god, but the crippled god has so much imagery already in this series of his blood being used for shit that it just makes sense that if some god is using their own blood as a drink to control people, it would probably be him. But it could not be. It's Steve. You never know.
Yeah, because I've been reading this as if the crippled god and the dying god are one and the same, but then it just dawned on me that like...
But also this god is like referenced as being in immense pain, which like is the crippled god's whole thing. So it would just...
Right, exactly. Like I feel like it's like obvious.
If it's a different god, then it's a very long con we are having pulled on us right now.
the crippled god's cousin.
Yeah, I don't think so.
We're like all dying all the time. Am I right?
That's true.
Love that, Pete.
Wait, we're not going down this. We are not going down this road. What I was going to say was that is he controlling them like you know like when like the pollen starts coming out of the sky or wherever the fuck it's coming out of, and then they all want to go touch it and stuff?
Yeah.
Is that good? Is that like what is that? What the fuck was that?
Some sort
Would that
of
turn them into scarecrows?
some sort of spore or something, some sort of like parasite. It infects their minds. Yeah, I don't know, but they all escape it except for Clip, which is upsetting.
Yeah.
But then his soul is just like gone.
Yeah.
Which is classic. Am I right? Love a good soulless body.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, that happens. And then they're like, all right, guys, we gotta go. We gotta go figure out what's going on with Clip. So let's go to the dying god.
Let's go to Bastion.
Bastion.
Is it
Great
Bastion in
name.
Kingdom Hearts?
Hollow Bastion, yeah.
That's Hollow Bastion. And then there's also the video game Bastion.
Also
it's
good.
Just a great name. There's the character from Overwatch named Bastion.
Yeah.
We're not even getting into Little Mermaid with Sebastian.
Damn it, you beat me to it.
Yeah.
That one doesn't count.
That's Sebastian, because he lives in the ocean.
Oh,
You guys are annoying me.
Anyway,
India, are you a huge Kingdom Hearts fan?
Yeah.
is that true?
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's true, guys.
Define huge, India. Tell me, explain the plot of Kingdom Hearts to me.
Yeah, the water goes pretty deep there. Like, are you in the
Well-
mobile games, Inge?
Did you
Okay.
just play the first one, or have you played all of them, or the main ones? I guess I don't know.
How many trading cards games have you played?
There's just the one.
None.
They did the one twice.
I played it on PlayStation.
Yeah, that's the system it's on.
Shout
I
out to
loved
my
it.
gamers, am I right?
Anyway, can we please continue?
I know that there's Mickey Mouse and the little guy with the hair, whose name starts with an S, and then there's that
We've
blonde
got
girl.
our
Okay.
next podcast series is going to be seven
No.
way too long titled video
No,
games.
I will not
A Kingdom
do that.
Hearts
I won't do
plot
that.
recap.
I'm sorry.
You can get me to
I'll do
read
it.
these. I don't know, though. I got you guys to read these books. I feel like I owe everyone one. So if that's Josh's pick, is we play Kingdom Hearts.
We play all the mainline Kingdom Hearts games and try to talk about the story.
Yeah,
I would do that. That sounds like a good ass time.
mine will be the Metal Gear Solid games.
I would much rather make you all just play every Fire Emblem game or every
Ugh.
Dynasty Warriors game and just like exist in those worlds with me.
I've never heard of those.
I will say Kingdom Hearts has an equal amount of stuff where it's just like fantasy concepts that's just like named weird ideas that you're expected to keep track of, and it's pretty
Yeah.
convoluted. So I think there's actually a comparison with Malazan here. So
But imagine,
Yeah.
but see now. Let's take trying to find a particularly edgy line here. Just to take any line from Malazan here and imagine Goofy saying it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Here, let's give me.
Goofy
let's
sounds the
find a
same as
sentence.
Kruppe.
yet a most dubious piece, the piece of death.
In terrible pain, the gate to his tormented soul open.
Yeah, there you go.
So good.
That is a line from Kingdom Hearts. That is a Kingdom Hearts video game line. Anyway, let's move on to Endus, please.
Animander Rake, played by Mickey Mouse, is just good. This is a fact.
Is. Gosh.
He has Dragnet Purr. That's his thing now.
Yeah. Carconis. We didn't even bring that up in the first section when
This episode's never gonna end.
no they drop Carconis,
They do talk about it. I noticed, yeah.
and then they say that it's, unless I misunderstood, which is possible, they said
like the
that's
city of
Animander Rake's
Tistiandi.
city. Yeah, crazy. Anyway, this section. What could be the reward for suffering?
Endus and Rake. Guys, fuck.
I would try a Donald Duck, but I don't have it in me.
I cannot do it. So
It
I'm
would
not
end up
trying
sounding
with
like that Mabim Bam bit where Griffin tries to do it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Now I am only worried about thinking of if there's another Disney character I can do a bad impersonation of.
Sylvester.
Oh, I could do Sylvester. That's easy. I don't have a line in front of me.
Wow. Okay, you really need to let us down there, buddy.
Oh, there's not enough S's. Did I not see through what was to come? Before life's arrival, we were in a civil war. Like that, it'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
That was really good. All right.
All right. So,
Endus and Rake are discussing Mother Dark and whether or not
yes.
it's
Thank you.
true what she
India
said.
pulling us back on topic? What is this?
Yeah.
India just wants the show to be done.
I literally am so hungry at this point.
Yeah.
All I'm thinking about is bacon, egg, and cheese that I'm going to get after this. So, yeah.
Man, I wish.
Oh, I'm really excited. I'm going to make it in a little wrap. But I don't have any breakfast potatoes.
Anyway.
Okay, yeah. So, I don't know, guys. The Rake Endist, let's talk about Mother Dark. Why? What is happening? What is the point? What are we trying to do? What are we trying to do here, guys? What do you take from this? What did you get from this conversation?
I have no India. The Tisty Andy stuff the Tisty Andy stuff is inscrutable right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand literally what is going on or any of the conversations. The words are, honestly, I'm going to say it. They're like too much. There's too fucking much of them. Too many words.
Too many
Just
words?
generally.
Yeah, like in a sentence. Like,
I fully agree. But I also think it's kind of like another like great piece of POV writing, because like these dudes are all at least, 20,000 years old or whatever. They don't have to, they don't need brevity. They can just talk for as long as they want because they're not going to fucking die. They don't. Yeah, they can just say their entire thoughts at all times, and they can say them as slow or protracted as they would like.
Yeah, and I fully agree, AJ. I think it's this section's well written in that regard. I mean, channeling the Andy, bereft of purpose, as Mother Dark said. I mean, when you are in these sections and you are just hanging out with these two guys being like, so our past, huh? That was so difficult. I remember that. And they're just going on, and then, they're just looking out at the sea, thinking about life. You're really sitting in it like, man, you guys really have lost it. We're really deep in the feels right now,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. It doesn't mean I have to like it.
No, I get that. No, I get it. It's not like, do I prefer when we're all hanging out in Kroll's bar and we're like doing bits, Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that the gist of this entire section is that Rake tells Endist, like, I need you to be by my side in battle. I would ask Spinnock, but he's got other stuff to do. Sorry. Yeah. And I think that's this whole section. I think that's it. Right.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
That's pretty it. Yeah, pretty much.
And Endist doesn't want to do it because he's just an old guy. Sorry, bud.
Endist is kind of like a kiss ass mama's boy.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah.
Take him down a peg, baby.
I hope there's not some sort of grand betrayal coming.
Oh, yeah.
Shit. I just now thought realized that that's a possibility.
Yeah, that is a possibility. And didn't at some point he say, like, one day you're going to betray me like Jesus?
I do think he did say that, yeah.
Which was, like, very much Easter vibes.
He brought up Jesus? He name dropped JC?
Yeah.
He pulled a Jesus. One day you're going to betray me,
Oh, he did say that, yeah.
Yeah, that's...
So he didn't say it like that, but that is how Jesus said it. So that's the way I took it. I was like, wow, this is getting real biblical in this bitch. So
I actually think Jesus name dropped Endist Salon.
Oh
yeah.
I love that bit of the Bible. And I love the part of the Bible, Animandaris. That's my favorite book of the Bible.
Nice.
So then we move on.
So the Seer Daman hasn't been back to the Barrow. And everybody's just kind of like, why? What the fuck? What's going to happen? And that's it. And then we find out that he's actually just playing in the fucking tavern. So,
Keftanar, baby.
Yeah. I don't remember if it's this section, but it's definitely around this Seer Daman Redeemer stuff. He gets confronted by the priestess. And she's like...
Yeah, she comes to the bar and she says, what the fuck?
Yeah. And he's like, I don't want to do this. And she's like, okay. And he's like, I don't know why I'm the chosen one. It's not like I'm worshiping this dude, like whatever. And she's like, that's not the point, man. He just likes to hang out with you, which I thought was just a wild thing that like, I don't know, like the Seer Daman's not like expecting anything from the Redeemer. And so the Redeemer's like, oh, cool. I can just kind of chill with you, my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an interesting space, I guess, for like a...
I just didn't think that the Redeemer was real, like, had feelings. And how does she know?
Because she's a priestess of the Redeemer.
Yeah. Welcome to religion.
Right. I know how they feel because I say so.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I just believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that happens.
It's worth noting that the people around the Barrow are now being attacked by ex-Panion soldiers, right? Yeah. Then they're coming and they're like, oh, the Redeemer will protect us. And then they're like, maybe the Redeemer's an indifferent god who won't do anything.
If next chapter does not end with Seer Daman kicking some ass, I'm gonna be very upset. That's what I want out of this.
I want to get like a Day of the Dead, like hand bursting from the barrow and then Kofi and being like, I'm here to beat ass.
That's maybe, you might be asking a little much. I think it's more likely that Seer Daman's like, whatever, let me just fucking end some fools.
No, I want him to come out and say, AJ's like really cool and my best friend. So I think that's a pretty good ask.
AJ's cold shots are second to none.
Well, we'll see if that happens.
Yeah, and then we get this really disturbing Calor POV.
What disturbed you?
He would, lock women in towers and then impregnate them, so I would assume rape them. And then when they had babies, he would kill them so that they couldn't grow attached to them because they're dead.
And so that no one could grow up to defeat him.
Yeah, the dude's fucking awful.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
But part of me does wonder, maybe he missed one, you know?
Ooh.
Maybe there's a Calor kid. Calor's kids. Anyway, who's gonna come and stab him?
All this Calor stuff's really sad. You're like, man, you live a terrible life, and like you've constructed a prison which is making you miserable and has destroyed your life. You know,
That's it's lonely at the top.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not really what I was getting at, but sure, yeah, it's lonely.
Yeah, and it just kind of, I don't know. I feel like all of his POV is just about like power and killing and power.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like this idea that dominating is going to bring you some sort of great life, and you know,
and it only took him a million years to be like, maybe not.
Yeah, maybe I should stop. This isn't working out for me.
Yeah. And heads towards Eurujistan, so that's disturbed as well. That's where all our boys are at and girls.
He's on his way.
But he meets up with our friends.
That's true.
And Husk.
Yeah, that was. Did anyone like reread that section a bunch to decide if it was Traveler or Calor?
Yes.
I like really went over it before I was settled on it being Calor because there was no bear skin. That was one other thing I could decide.
No, I think they say something about him being like bony or something, like looking really skinny. Like, okay, well, this is.
Oh, did they?
I think so. I think so. Maybe not.
I did settle on it being Calor, which I was glad I was correct about, but it took me a while.
Yeah. The deep lines of his gaunt visage.
Yeah. Well, then the very next section fills you in, and you're like, oh, okay, well, here's Traveler. So clearly that was Calor.
Yeah.
And then we go back to Traveler.
Weird scene, huh? This one.
What's weird about this scene? Well, it is a little
the Traveler scene. Why? Like, what is the purpose of him like meeting this whole clan of the last people of this? You know, ancient. It's just weird out of nowhere, and like based on the ending, they're gonna now be gone. You know.
But can you imagine Traveler and Karsa?
I can't wait for that. So hype for that to happen in a couple chapters.
Do you think they're going to fight alongside each other? I feel like.
You never know with Karsa.
Well, I feel like Karsa's like, you know, wants to tear down civilization, and Traveler / Decimal Tor was like the sword of civilization.
Right, but like imagine if he's like, yo, let's go kill death. You know, Karsa's like, that sounds fucking sick. Yeah. I'll unchain all of them.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be some wild shit.
The Tor reread has spoiled that it was Samar on that horse. I did not catch that, but I knew they were talking about.
You didn't notice it was Samar?
I knew they were talking about Karsa, so I'm sure like in a moment I would have like as soon as that scene comes back, I'd have been like, who would know Karsa? Oh, yeah. Samar. Duh.
Yeah.
Just didn't click for me.
India, you said we haven't done a temperature check in a while.
Well, it's because we took like 6 weeks between recording these last two episodes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do we want to take a temperature check?
I hate it. I fucking hate this book.
I feel like we just gotta let it rot. I don't know. Well, sure. I
want to take. It's my episode, Peter.
That's what I mean. I'm not. That's why I withdrew it. I was withdrawing. I was done. I'm done.
Okay. AJ, temperature check.
I'm loving it. Very hot on this book. I'm having a great time. I'm looking forward to continuing to read this book at a more regular pace than we have the first 2 sections because of our freaking schedules. You know,
Josh. Temp check.
Loving it. 10 out of 10.
That's bullshit. PB, temp check. Second read. How do we feel? Love it? Love it more?
About the same. This is actually my 3rd time reading the book. Let the record show.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Only this book?
This is weirdly the only book I've already reread. So this is Ooh,
why? Why'd you reread it?
I think I knew this though, for some reason.
Why did you reread it?
Yeah, so when we first started it, for various reasons, maybe we'll talk about in Dust to Dreams, I was like, I really wanted to make sure I really knew the ending super well, because I guess in my mind I thought that was, whatever, we'll talk about it later. But so I was like, well, I'm going to reread 8, 9, 10 to kind of build into the ending. And then I reread 8, and that was like, yeah, no, you know what, I'm fine. I pretty much get it. And then I just quit the endeavor. So I only reread 8.
I can't wait until the inevitable point in book 9 where you're like, I completely forgot that this happened.
That's 100% going to happen. We'll talk about it more in book 9.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed rereading it, and I'm here I am cruising, having a good time. So
Well,
nice long episode. We really did it now, didn't we?
It'll cut down. I think we did a lot of kind of meandering and like slow speaking or taking time between thoughts.
we're like Animander Rake.
Yes, this is the Tice Andy of episodes.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys. Well, to be honest, this is me. This is it. Thank you for joining us. It's been a really fun ride for me. It's been a really good time. And if you got through this episode again, proud of you.
It sounds like you're about to quit the
It
podcast.
literally sounds like you're about to retire.
And you'll
from the
never hear from me again. Thank you for having me. Bye.
team. We bring on Robo India once.
Yeah.
When I say come, you say passion. Come.
Passion.